Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and this video will showcase the fastest cars in the GTA 5 commercial vehicles class organised by overall lap time, with the top speed of each vehicle also shown in order to identify any outliers. All 16 commercial class vehicles have been put through their paces on my testing track and top speed run, and check out the intro video to this series as it likely answers any questions you have about this testing. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on future testing of new vehicles added to GTA 5 and beyond, and check out all of the classes in the playlist. This video is brought to you by the resources area of my website. Check out info regarding my Discord server, office setup, pets, sponsors, a monthly blog and more at bruffy.com/resources. So the commercial class, a lot of vehicles in here that you're likely to see in traffic around free roam. Starting with our first vehicle, which is the slowest vehicle in the class, the regular mule. Now this is the base version that you see in traffic with liveries for different businesses, and the one that you can buy on the Warstock website for $27,000. We'll be seeing 3 different types of mule in this, so it can be quite confusing which ones there are, so that's why I'm trying to give you an idea early on. The Pounder here is next up, got a pretty decent top speed for the Pounder, again something you might see in traffic, but 8th best for the commercial vehicles class. It just struggles to get around the corners, but it is almost 4 seconds per lap quicker than the mule. And then we've got the slowest of the big rigs next up with the Hauler, just a few seconds per lap quicker than the Pounder and a much worse top speed. 14th best in the commercial class on both metrics for the Hauler, and yeah, it just doesn't have anything going for it really when you're comparing it to the rest of the big rigs. Now this is the armoured version of the mule, and this is usually used in missions. It was added with the Heist DLC, and this is the version you can buy on Warstock for $32,000. This is also the mule that can be used in van class races, so one of only 2 vehicles in the commercial class that can be used in regular races. We'll see the other one later on. The Biff up next has a pretty decent top speed again, not quite as good as what we saw from the Pounder earlier, but yeah, we're increasing in lap time, well, improving in lap time quite significantly as we go from vehicle to vehicle in this one. There's quite a big spread across the whole class, and here is the final version of the mule with the mule custom. Still can't break that 1 minute 40 lap time and a pretty bad top speed to go along with it. Obviously this is what you use for the nightclub. It's the vehicle that you'll be using the most if you're selling your nightclub stock in the most efficient way every 20 hours, assuming you've got it set up correctly. But it is quite significantly down on another option that you've got for the nightclub with the Pounder custom that we'll see in a little while. So we're into the top 10. The Packer is in 10th place, probably one of the forgotten about big rigs because it doesn't have a custom version, as we'll see custom versions of others later on. A 1 minute 38 is not too bad of a lap time considering the commercial class as a whole, and it actually shares exactly the same top speed as the Stockade, and the Stockade's only 0.2 of a second quicker than it as well, so the Stockade and the Packer, kind of a shame that we can't use those together in a race because they're actually really close, and you know, if this was a raceable class they would definitely be in the same tier, even though they're 2 quite different vehicles. Now the quickest of the normal big rigs, I guess you could say, which are the ones that you would see just around traffic in free roam, is the Phantom. It's got a decent top speed but not quite as quick as what we've seen from others, like the Packer for example. It does definitely outdrag it on the straight, but it's a good 4 seconds per lap quicker for lap time, and certainly the best out of the, you know, the standard big rigs. Now the Pounder custom here in 7th place, this is an option that you can use for the nightclub as well. It's 8 seconds per lap and 20 mph quicker than the other option of the mule custom, and as long as you haven't bought the mule custom, you will be using the Pounder custom regardless of the size of the sail. So it's actually, even though it's bulkier, it is certainly a lot quicker, and yeah, it's probably a better option for nightclub sales if that's something that you do. Now the Benson here in 6th place, just missing out on the top 5, is the only other vehicle that you can use for regular races, and that's only recently as well. The Benson was added with the Cluck and Bell variant to be made available in van races alongside the Armoured Mule that we saw earlier. Those are the only 2 normal raceable vehicles. Most of these you can't race with in regular races outside of, say, Transform races. And then the Terabyte is in 5th place, a 1 minute 28.8, so we're starting to take some, you know, big jumps in lap time, but a pretty disappointing, I guess you could say, top speed with 87.5 miles per hour. It's only less than 1 mile per hour quicker than a standard pounder that you might find in traffic. So a little disappointing on the top speed for the Terabyte. That same can't be said for the Cerberus though, obviously because it's an arena vehicle, and because of that it gets access to the nitrous boost upgrade that you can get for arena vehicles, which is why it gets the top speed that it does of 106.25 miles per hour and takes the #1 spot for that metric across all commercial vehicles. Good luck getting it around the corners though, it is a big one, this one. Now we take a huge jump in lap time to the top 3 with the Phantom Wedge up next, more than 5 seconds per lap quicker than the Cerberus. And this is difficult to get around the corners as well, but you know, it's a much better proposition than something like a Cerberus for doing that. When it comes to top speed, it's only beaten by the 2 ahead of it for lap time as well as the Cerberus, and it's certainly one of the quickest of the big rigs, and that Wedge obviously deals with traffic very nicely as well as an added bonus. However, the top 2 are in a bit of a league of their own, with the Phantom Custom up first in second place for lap time and for top speed. It actually shares almost all the same performance stats as the Phantom Wedge, it's just that the custom version can be upgraded with engine, turbo and all that kind of stuff, and is therefore quicker overall. But it's not quite as quick as our #1 vehicle, which is the other big rig that you can choose when you buy a mobile operations center. It's of course the Hauler Custom. While it can't quite match the Phantom Custom for straight line performance, and none of this is taking into account how they perform when attached to the MOC trailer, the Hauler Custom is easily the best around the corners in this entire class and the most maneuverable. It's quite the glow up really from the regular hauler, which was the worst of the big rigs, and it's over 25 seconds down on the custom variant for lap time. Quite a big improvement from the standard to the custom there. The smaller form factor of the hauler really helps it, since as you'll see in this comparison, the Phantom's bigger frame really struggles to get around the corners at any kind of speed, and it's that nimbleness that the Hauler Custom has that puts it on the top spot for the commercial class, with a lap time that's actually half a second quicker than the fastest vehicle from last week's utility class video. And as we continue to go through these less thought about classes in the second half of this new testing series, that trend looks set to continue, with the fastest vehicle from industrial, service and emergency classes all seeming like they're gonna be faster than the fastest vehicle from the class before it. We will have to wait and see how those pan out over the next few weeks though. But as you can kind of see from this comparison, the Hauler Custom and the Phantom Custom have been relatively evenly matched. Whilst the Hauler is better in the corners, the Phantom does have better acceleration and ultimate straight line speed, so even though the Hauler might pull out of a corner at a higher speed, the Phantom Custom's better acceleration gets it up to that speed a lot quicker, so they've been about even throughout most of the lap, with the Hauler being a little bit quicker, until we obviously got to the tight hairpin, in which case the Hauler pulled away quite a lot, but then the Phantom brought it back in play again with that top speed down the back straight. Ultimately they are very close, there's less than a second between them, but the Hauler is definitely the better of the two when they're on their own like this. For now, I'll leave you with this final comparison on top speed between the Pounder Custom and the Mule Custom, further driving home that probably one of the biggest mistakes you can make is buying the Mule Custom if you like to make money in the most efficient way possible in the game by using the nightclub, like me. I also bought the Mule Custom and I regret it a lot. But yeah, the Mule really just needed some more power, because it's not too bad in the corners, but I've made a lot of money with that Mule Custom, even though it's a lot slower than the Pounder Custom. So anyway, that's everything for this video. Please consider supporting on Patreon or become a YouTube member if you want to support this work and get some extra perks for doing so, such as early access to videos and other testing results. Also remember to read the description for more info, comment with your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed it, found it helpful, and subscribe for more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.